I don't consider myself an expert on how to deal with professed atheists. I was once invited to speak at a college that had an atheist club. And they asked me to come speak to it. And I did. And when I was finished, they were really ready to tar and feather me. They were absolutely outraged at what I said to them. And basically what I did was that I took them to the first chapter of Romans. And I told them that, in my opinion, their intellectual objections to the biblical doctrine of God were just fundamentally dishonest. That their problem was that they didn't know that God exists, but that they hated the God who does exist. And they didn't want to have him in their thinking. I said, because God has revealed himself to you so clearly, so manifestly, that you cannot ever plead ignorance before him, saying that you don't know him, because as the word tells us, that it is while they know God, knowing God, they refuse to honor him as God. Neither were they grateful. And so they exchanged the glory of God for the glory of the creature and served the creature rather than the Creator, exchanging the truth for a lie. And that's the ground basis of atheism. It's based on a lie, fundamental dishonesty. Because man is, even as the most militant atheists of the 19th century, people like Feuerbach and Marx and Freud, well, Marx was later, and Freud, Nietzsche, and others, said that man seems to be incurably homo religiosus, that they're incurably religious. And people may say, I'm not very religious. What they mean is they're not religious in categories of biblical faith. But the judgment of God upon the fallen world is not for their atheism, but for their religion, which is idolatry, that substitute religion for God. And so I try to answer people's intellectual objections if I can, but at some point in the discussion I'll say, I've tried to answer all of these things, but let me tell you what I really think. I really think you know very well that God exists, and your problem is that you hate him. And the reason that you hate him is because he's holy and you're not. But that's the way I try to do it.